Greetings, explorers of the shadows and seekers of hidden truth. You have entered the portal of the unknown, where ancient myths meet divine wisdom, and the boundaries between cultures and beliefs vanish before the eternal mystery. Here, every fragment of the past connects to a greater purpose, revealing truths that echo through the ages and challenge us to question everything we thought we knew. Today, we will delve deep into the fascinating convergence between Greek mythology and Judeo-Christian prophecies, uncovering the surprising connections found in the enigmatic Sibylline oracles. These prophetic female figures, shrouded in mystery and reverence, emerged from ancient pagan traditions, yet their intriguing messages transcended borders, surpassing beliefs and challenging the rigid separation between myth and faith. The Sibylline oracles were women endowed with a unique prophetic ability, whose visions, often attributed to divine inspiration, foretold future events, warned kings and nations, and shed light on the destiny of humanity. But what makes these prophecies even more intriguing is the way they intertwine with sacred scriptures. The Sibylline texts, written in poetic language and filled with vivid imagery, often address themes such as divine judgment, the coming of a Messiah, and even the destruction of empires. Could it be possible that these pagan prophetesses were instruments of revelation, conveying hidden truths beneath the veil of mythology? Or were their words shaped by a common source, an ancient wisdom that permeates all civilizations? As we examine the Sibylline prophecies, we begin to notice echoes of themes that resonate powerfully with the biblical texts. The destruction of wicked cities, the rise of a righteous ruler, and even the expectation of an era of peace and redemption appear both in the Sibylline predictions and in the prophetic writings of the Old Testament. This intriguing parallel raises profound questions. Could there be a connection between the divine inspiration that guided the Hebrew prophets and the visions of these mysterious women of antiquity? Are we witnessing evidence that truth transcends cultural barriers and that the quest for answers is a universal constant? As we advance in this investigation, it becomes impossible to ignore the impact that the Sibylline prophecies had on the ancient world. Entire cities made political decisions based on their revelations, and Roman emperors often turned to these writings in times of crisis. The Sibyls were seen as intermediaries between the gods and mortals, guardians of forbidden and profound knowledge. However, their prophecies were not confined to the pagan world. Historical records suggest that early Christians saw in them a confirmation of their own faith, interpreting their messages as veiled testimonies of gospel truths. If the Sibylline oracles carry messages that transcend mythology and belief, then their relevance to us, seekers of truth, is undeniable. They challenge us to look beyond pre-established categories and consider the possibility that the answers we seek may be hidden in unexpected places. What mysteries still await to be uncovered within these ancient words? And what can they teach us about the future yet to come? Prepare yourself for a journey where each Sibylline prophecy becomes a piece in the grand puzzle of existence. If you wish to continue exploring the enigmas of the past and understanding how they shape the present and the future, subscribe to the Portal of the Unknown. Together, we will unveil hidden secrets and challenge the boundaries of knowledge. The Sibylline oracles, as described in their compilations, often echo the apocalyptic visions found in the Bible, providing a unique perspective on future events and divine intervention in the destiny of humanity. In Daniel chapter 7, verse 13, we read, "I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like a son of man was coming." This image of a cosmic redeemer vested with heavenly authority resonates deeply not only within the Judeo-Christian tradition, but also in the Sibylline prophecies, which poetically suggest the coming of a Messiah destined to bring justice and restoration to a corrupted world. The Sibylline writings, attributed to ancient prophetesses, blend elements of Jewish and Greco-Roman traditions, pointing to a future in which humanity will be judged for its actions and rewarded according to divine decrees. Within these prophecies, the messianic figure is often portrayed as a righteous ruler who will descend with the clouds of heaven, heralding a new era of peace and prosperity. This image evokes the hope of a redeemed world, where chaos and injustice will give way to divine order and righteousness. In the Sibylline oracles, this promise manifests through vivid descriptions of cosmic battles, celestial signs, and the direct intervention of the Creator in human history. The connection between Daniel's visions and the Sibylline prophecies reveals a shared perception that the course of history is under the control of higher forces, that at the appointed time will bring a new dawn for the righteous and a severe judgment for the wicked. The image of the Son of Man in Daniel is emblematic of a heavenly authority that transcends earthly dominion and points to a divine kingdom established on the foundations of justice and truth. This same vision finds a parallel in the Sibylline prophecies, where the Messiah is described as a figure of light, bringing with him a book of judgment and a crown of glory, symbols of his redemptive mission. The prophecies affirm that under his rule, the nations will bow, acknowledging his sovereignty, and the righteous will be exalted, receiving their reward for a life of virtue. This interconnection between biblical prophetic literature and the Sibylline oracles demonstrates the universality of the messianic hope, transcending cultures and historical contexts. The longing for a Redeemer who will bring justice and restoration is a constant in human thought, reflecting the search for meaning amid adversity and the belief in a higher purpose guiding the world's destiny. Thus, both in Daniel and the Sibylline oracles, the theme of the Messiah's coming stands as a consoling promise for the faithful and a warning of impending transformation for those who persist in iniquity. This messianic expectation, therefore, continues to resonate through the centuries, inspiring not only faith communities, but also scholars and interpreters of Scripture who seek to understand the divine plans through these ancient revelations. The fusion of Daniel's prophetic symbolism with the visions of the Sibylline oracles creates a rich tapestry of meanings, reaffirming the conviction that the time of redemption is drawing near, and that soon the heavens will open to reveal the glory of the Son of Man, coming on the clouds with power and great majesty. Let us reflect on the role of divine judgment, both in the Sibylline oracles and in texts such as Revelation chapter 20, verse 12. There is an emphasis on the day when the dead were judged according to their works, as recorded in the books. This vision of the final judgment transcends centuries, appearing in different traditions and shaping how civilizations understand moral responsibility and divine retribution. The idea that all human actions are being recorded, and that, in due time, each individual will face the consequences of their choices is a constant theme in both biblical prophetic literature and the Sibylline prophecies. This creates a bridge between seemingly distinct cultures, united by the longing for justice. In the Sibylline oracles, the concept of divine judgment is vividly described, with images of celestial scrolls being opened and angels meticulously recording each deed, whether good or evil. This depiction echoes the apocalyptic scene in Revelation, where the opening of the book symbolizes total transparency before the Creator, revealing hidden secrets and bringing to light everything that was done in life. This connection between traditions not only highlights the universality of the belief in final judgment, but also emphasizes the idea of an impartial tribunal where no one escapes the divine balance. According to these prophecies, the righteous will be rewarded with eternal life, while the wicked will face condemnation, an idea that resonates strongly across ancient and modern cultures alike. The pursuit of justice transcends cultural barriers because it touches on an essential aspect of the human experience, the desire for fairness, to see good prevail and evil corrected. The Sibylline oracles, in addressing this theme, offer a vision of a world where chaos will finally be replaced by divine order, where corrupt kings will be dethroned, the humble will be exalted, and truth will reign supreme. Similarly, the Book of Revelation presents a scenario in which the heavens open and a great white throne is set up, before which all nations must appear to account for their actions. This imagery reinforces the notion that divine justice does not fail, and that, despite the deceptive appearances of the present, one day all will receive their due. In the Sibylline oracles, there is also the idea that divine judgment is not merely a distant future event, but something that is already underway, manifesting through calamities, wars, and transformations occurring in the world. Each misfortune, according to the prophecies, serves as a reminder of the need for repentance and righteousness. This concept aligns with the apocalyptic warnings of the Bible, which point to signs of the times as harbingers of the coming judgment. Thus, both in the Sibylline and Christian traditions, there is a constant call to vigilance and spiritual preparation, for the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night, without warning. Furthermore, the concept of divine justice in prophetic texts is not limited to the punishment of the wicked, but also encompasses restoration and renewal. The Sibylline oracles speak of a future era in which the righteous will inherit the earth, enjoying lasting peace under divine leadership. This hope for a redeemed future echoes the biblical promises of a new heaven and a new earth, where there will be no more mourning or pain, and where justice will be the foundation of all things. Thus, prophetic visions of judgment and redemption go hand in hand, offering both warning and comfort to humanity. Therefore, when analyzing the intersection between the Sibylline oracles and Revelation, we realize that although cultures may have different languages and symbols, the pursuit of a just and final judgment is a common aspiration. The idea that one day all will be confronted with the undeniable truth of their lives remains one of the most powerful messages conveyed by these ancient prophecies, inviting each generation to reflect on their actions and prepare for the inevitable encounter with the Creator. But it is not only the concept of divine judgment that unites these traditions. The promise of a new world order is also a common theme, permeating sacred scriptures and prophetic texts with a vision of hope and restoration. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 17 proclaims, "Behold, I will create new heavens and a new earth, and the former things will not be remembered." This divine promise points to a future of absolute renewal, where the suffering, pain, and injustices of the present will give way to a reality transformed by the will of the Creator. Similarly, the Sibylline oracles echo this expectation, describing a time when chaos will be overcome and eternal peace will be established, bringing forth a reign of justice and harmony for all humanity. In the Sibylline texts, this new world order is portrayed as the ultimate triumph of good over evil, where all corrupt structures of society will be dissolved, making way for a divine government that will rule with equity and wisdom. This vision closely resembles the biblical narrative, in which the establishment of new heavens and a new earth signifies not only a physical transformation, but also a moral and spiritual renewal. The past, filled with injustice, war, and suffering, will be forgotten, as the divine presence will fill every aspect of human existence, restoring the lost communion between God and humanity. Thus, both the prophetic writings of Isaiah and the Sibylline prophecies converge on the same essential message. The world as we know it is not the final destination, but merely a transitional phase before the glorious fulfillment of the divine plan. The Sibylline oracles speak of a future era in which nations, once divided by conflict and selfish ambitions, will unite under a single purpose: to honor justice and live in harmony. This utopian vision is widely reflected in Judeo-Christian scriptures, where the Messiah will usher in an unshakable reign of peace. The prophecies of Isaiah, for instance, describe a world where the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, symbols of universal reconciliation and the end of all hostilities. Similarly, the Sibylline oracles assure that one day the earth will be restored to its original glory, and the righteous will inhabit it without fear or affliction, living under divine protection and guidance. Another fascinating aspect of this promised new world order in both traditions is the transformation of the very foundations of existence. The pains that currently define the human condition, grief, sickness, scarcity, will be eradicated, making way for an existence marked by abundance and complete joy. In the Sibylline oracles, this transformation is represented through powerful imagery, such as rivers of milk and honey flowing through the land, symbolizing the restoration of a prosperous and fertile creation. Likewise, the prophet Isaiah describes a reality where there will be no more weeping or crying, for God will wipe away every tear from his people's eyes. This convergence of ideas reveals a profound human desire for redemption and renewal, reinforcing the belief that history is inexorably moving toward a glorious conclusion. Another point of connection between Isaiah and the Sibylline oracles is the central role of justice in this new world. The prophecies make it clear that this transformation will not occur arbitrarily, but as a result of a just and final judgment. The wicked, who for centuries have sown evil, will be removed from the new earth, while the righteous, those who have remained faithful to divine commandments, will inherit the promise of eternal life. This idea, present in both Judeo-Christian tradition and the Sibylline prophecies, offers hope while also serving as a solemn warning. In order for the new order to manifest, sin must be abandoned and righteousness must be pursued. Thus, the expectation of a new creation is not just a distant promise, but a reality, taking shape on the horizon of both traditions. According to the scriptures, humanity draws closer each day to this moment of renewal, when chaos will finally be defeated and peace will reign supreme. Whether in Isaiah, the Sibylline oracles, or the Book of Revelation, the message remains the same. A new world awaits those who persevere, and in it, all things will be restored to their original perfection according to the divine design. How can we explain this convergence between the prophetic traditions of the Sibylline oracles and the scriptures? Are the Sibylline oracles a distant echo of biblical revelations, or could the scriptures have influenced these mythological traditions? These questions lead us to reflect on the complex interactions between different cultures and belief systems throughout history. In both cases, however, there is a constant that transcends the barriers of time and geography. Humanity in its diversity shares a common unrest, a deep longing for redemption, and an end to suffering. The search for a transformation that frees humanity from the clutches of pain, evil, and injustice is present in many of the oldest religious and philosophical traditions, and it is this need for salvation that drives, in large part, both the biblical visions and those of the Sibylline oracles. One possible explanation for this convergence is that the scriptures, particularly the prophecies of Isaiah and other apocalyptic books of the Bible, may have influenced the mythological traditions of neighboring cultures, such as the Greek and Roman ones, from which the Sibylline oracles emerged. Over the centuries, the Jews were in contact with various civilizations, including the Hellenistic and Roman ones, and it is plausible that, during these cultural exchanges, Jewish ideas about the end times, final judgment, and divine restoration were assimilated and reinterpreted by these cultures. While the Sibylline oracles are of Greek and Roman origin, many of their prophecies share themes and imagery with the scriptures, such as divine judgment, the coming of a Messiah, and the promise of a new earth. This suggests that biblical revelations could indeed have influenced these myths, especially considering that the Sibylline traditions were composed during historical periods that overlap with the biblical prophecies, particularly during the Hellenistic and Roman domination periods. On the other hand, it is also possible that the convergence between the Sibylline oracles and the scriptures is not due to a direct relationship of influence, but rather to a universal expression of the human condition and its existential dilemmas. In many cultures, the search for answers about the ultimate fate of humanity and the role of a higher being in restoring the world is a constant. This can be interpreted as a manifestation of a common psychological and spiritual need, the desire to understand suffering, pain, and injustice, and at the same time, the hope for a better future. The idea of final judgment and a new world order reflects the human aspiration for a definitive resolution to the conflicts that mark earthly existence. Thus, the convergence between these traditions can be seen not just as a direct exchange of ideas, but as the expression of the same universal quest for meaning and redemption in the face of adversity. Regardless of the origin of the similarities, the fact remains that both the Sibylline oracles and the scriptures share a deeply consoling promise of a new world order. Both traditions share a vision of a transformed world, where the forces of evil are defeated, peace prevails, and divine justice is established definitively. The destruction of evil and the restoration of a kingdom of justice are not just religious hopes, but also a reflection of the profound human need for suffering and injustice not to be the final chapter of history. This transcendental vision offers profound meaning to life and the daily struggle, as it suggests that despite adversity, the ultimate end will be redemption and restoration. In observing these convergences, we can conclude that Whether by direct influence or as a common response to human dilemmas, religious and mythological traditions remind us that humanity has always sought, and will continue to seek, answers to the great questions of life and destiny. The search for redemption, the wait for divine justice, and the hope for a better world are universal yearnings that cross cultures and eras, reflecting a common unrest that continues to inspire spiritual and philosophical reflection to this day. It is intriguing how these messages, even though originating from such distinct cultures, point to the same destiny: the restoration of the world, transformation, and liberation from suffering. The idea of a redemptive end, where creation will be renewed and restored to its original perfection, consistently appears both in the scriptures and the Sibylline oracles, reflecting a universal longing for divine intervention that brings order, justice, and peace. This concept of cosmic redemption is profoundly expressed in Romans 8:21. For the creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and glory of the children of God. This verse encapsulates the vision that not only humans, but all of creation will undergo a profound transformation, being freed from the corruption and decay that marked humanity's history since the fall. In the Sibylline oracles, a similar concept emerges in the descriptions of a coming time when the earth, the heavens, and all the elements of the universe will be restored and purified. The chaos that currently afflicts nature and humanity will be overcome, giving way to a new world of harmony and perfection. This vision is not just a promise of a glorious future, but a vision of cosmic redemption, where the universe as a whole will be freed from the shackles of corruption and evil. Even without a direct connection to Christianity, the Sibylline oracles touch on a universal theme that deeply resonates with the Christian vision of ultimate liberation and the final restoration of creation. The idea that the universe as a whole will be restored to its original glory, free from suffering, destruction, and decay, is a hope that transcends the boundaries of religions and cultures, speaking directly to the human desire for renewal and redemption. This vision of a new beginning, in which creation will be freed for the freedom and glory of the children of God, as Paul states in Romans, is a powerful metaphor for liberation, not only spiritual, but also physical and material. Creation, in its original form, was made to be good and perfect, but it became corrupted by sin, death, and destruction with it. Therefore, the restoration is a recovery of that original perfection, where evil will no longer have power, and all things will work as they were originally meant to work, in perfect harmony and balance. This concept aligns with the promises of a new heaven and a new earth, where injustice, pain, and corruption will give way to peace and harmony, a vision shared both in the Sibylline oracles and in the scriptures. Additionally, Romans 8:21 emphasizes that this liberation will not be limited to humanity, but will encompass all of creation. The liberation will be universal, extending to every aspect of the universe, from human beings to nature itself. This point is crucial because it is not only about individual salvation, but about a cosmic salvation, where creation as a whole will be restored and purified. In the Sibylline oracles, this same idea is suggested by the imagery of a new and transformed world, where the earth, seas, and heavens will be healed and renewed, free from all the corruption that currently affects them. This connection between the liberation of creation and human redemption is a recurring theme in both the scriptures and the Sibylline traditions. Both texts share a vision of a future where evil and corruption are defeated, and a new world free from suffering will be inaugurated. This vision offers not just comfort, but also a hopeful outlook for humanity, which longs for a world where adversities are overcome and peace is finally established. The Romans verse and the Sibylline prophecies invite us to reflect on the temporary nature of suffering and corruption in the present world, reminding us that the restoration and renewal of all things is promised as part of the divine plan, something that transcends any historical period or culture. Ultimately, the restoration of the world described in Romans and the Sibylline oracles reflects the common hope of humanity for a better future, where all things will be restored to their original perfection and evil will be eradicated forever. This vision calls us to look beyond the present reality, with its sufferings and injustices, and to await in faith the manifestation of a new era where the glory of God will be fully revealed and creation will be freed from corruption. Therefore, when we study the Sibylline oracles, we are not merely exploring myths or enigmatic narratives, but discovering how divine truth can reveal itself in unexpected places. These texts, although originating from a tradition different from the Christian one, resonate deeply with biblical prophecies, suggesting that the divine spirit transcends cultural and religious boundaries. The Sibylline prophecies invite us to recognize that the call to redemption is not limited to a single people or era, but is universal, uniting nations, cultures, and ages in a shared quest for restoration and peace. They challenge us to see beyond the temporal and spatial limitations of human history and understand that the desire for salvation and transformation is a constant in the heart of all humanity, reflecting a profound spiritual connection to something greater. By examining these ancient prophecies, we are invited to reflect on how different traditions, despite their apparent differences, share a common vision of the future. Whether in the Sibylline oracles or in the scriptures, we find the same longing for a definitive liberation, a final end to suffering, injustice, and evil, and the establishment of a new order that will bring peace and harmony. These texts show us that the deepest truths are not confined to the scriptures we consider canonical or to the myths we deem marginal, but can be found in many places waiting to be uncovered. Therefore, when we explore the Sibylline oracles, we are doing more than studying ancient traditions. We are accessing a universal wisdom that speaks to the human soul, reflecting its endless quest for meaning and salvation. If you wish to continue this journey through myths and prophecies, subscribe to the portal of the unknown. The deepest truths are always hidden in the shadows, patiently waiting to be revealed to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. The pursuit of knowledge and the understanding of the mysteries of the universe is a never-ending journey, and each step brings us closer to the truth that lies behind ancient narratives and prophetic visions. In every text, in every myth, there is a key to better understand our condition and the fate of humanity. And as we dedicate ourselves to this search, we discover that wisdom and redemption are not mere abstract concepts, but living realities that shape our world. The portal of the unknown is your gateway to these mysteries, an invitation to explore the secrets passed down through generations.